Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Majo, and in this channel we talk about things related to career abroad, international student life, personal experiences as someone from another country living in the UK, finding our way through the job market, tips on that, career change, building a career from scratch, and much more. So in this video I want to talk about 6 errors or mistakes that I want you to dodge, I want you to avoid as someone who is building a career abroad, or just in general as someone who is trying to make the most out of their career. So number 1 would be overlooking the power of networking and only focusing on online applications. I made a video previously about a 2-hour job search strategy on how to make the most out of your job hunting, so you are not endlessly applying to jobs online, on Indeed, on LinkedIn, and thinking that that's just enough for you to get a role. So don't overlook the power of networking, of connecting to others, of asking them a 15 or 30 minute Zoom call, a chat over a coffee, and you never know where that person, that contact will get you to. So a quick fix for this error is setting a target. Connect with 3 people in your field per week. This could be through LinkedIn, through friends of friends, etc. Just connect, talk to them, talk to 3 people, try to put yourself forward instead of just waiting for opportunities to come. Look for them, in other words. Number 2, focusing too much on the perfect job. And I've made that mistake so much. I had an idea of what my perfect ideal role would be, and I wouldn't accept, or I wouldn't even consider applying or networking with fields or with people that weren't aligned to that. It's good to have dreams and it's good to have an ideal type of role, but you might have to go a step back in order to go there. You might have to go and get more work experience. You might have to go and get more qualifications, more training, more courses before you actually get onto that perfect ideal goal. I always mention this, and it's worth mentioning it now. It's not about the perfect goal itself or the perfect job, but it's about the process of getting there that is actually fulfilling. And if it actually feels draining, then consider making some tweaks to your end goal, or consider being more patient with yourself and readapting your strategy. No one tells you that you have to stick to the idea of that perfect role that you had when you first came abroad versus when 1 or 2 years have come down the road and you've actually re-strategized what is your idea of a perfect role. In other words, your goals can change, and that's okay. Quick example on that: when I first came, and much of my videos are around that, I wanted to be educational psychologist. I still do it, but it can also change. I'm looking now into counseling psychology instead of educational psychology through my research and through speaking to people. So that's actually quite natural and normal to re-strategize where you want to take your career. Also, on this goal of not focusing on the perfect role, whilst you're working towards that, learn transferable skills, not only through courses and training, but actually through real life roles. So if you get a role that you can use maybe the skills of, for example, sales, of speaking to people, into another field, just do it. And then in the next interview, you can speak about your previous transferable skills. That is always useful. Number 3, ignoring work-life balance. So you've come into the new country and you are super excited about building your career here, but you neglect yourself and you maybe don't prioritize your own mental health or your own personal life because you're too focused on building your career and progressing on the next step, etc. So that is a common error. I have been there in my first year here, juggling my job and also my master's, and not focusing too much about me, about my hobbies, what do I want to do outside of my work and outside of uni. I didn't thought too much about that. Now it's changed, but I wish I could have known that since day 1. So a quick tip or a quick fix in order to avoid this common mistake is to block out personal time in your calendar and treat it as if you would treat a meeting. So for example, every morning 7 to 8 yoga time. Well, that's in my case. So that is like my meeting. Sometimes I might miss my yoga, but then I replace it with another activity that I enjoy later in the day. So I try to always make sure that I'm doing something for myself during the day on a daily basis, and different types of things to keep myself going, because that is actually going to boost your productivity. I found that just waking up from bed, straight to the shower, straight to work doesn't really help me, because I'm not connecting with myself, I'm not connecting with my body, and I'm just doing things in a robotic mode. Whenever I did that, I was feeling more sad, I was affected more by things. So basically my self-care routine, and yours too, should act as a way of protecting yourself towards the day-to-day challenges or the day-to-day problems. Protecting, I mean as in better dealing with them. dealing with them with a different attitude than you would deal with them if you didn't go to do your yoga or whatever activity you enjoy doing. So no self-care equals dealing very poorly with problems from your day-to-day. Number 4 is underestimating communication skills. I've underestimated communication skills so much. So I thought, okay, if I know that technical knowledge, if I have the knowledge, that will lead me towards my goals. No, it's not like that. You actually need to learn how to sell your ideas and how to sell yourself, not just in interviews to get a job, but also in real life with personal relationships. We're always selling something and we're always communicating with people no matter the type of role you do. Of course, there's some roles that you will communicate face to face a bit more, but don't underestimate this, and actually even consider, I've considered it myself, to take public speaking courses. That could help you boost your self-confidence in that regard, and you can use it in any field. And also it can serve you as, again, transferable skills. If you're talking to a client, if you're talking to your boss about a promotion, communication skills and knowing how to put your words in a coherent way, in a way that the other person will actually believe it, is a skill that doesn't always come naturally for everyone. I know it doesn't come naturally for me, but it's a skill that anyone can learn if you put your mind to it. Number 5, not advocating for yourself. So common mistake that I made was just waiting for the other person to recognize what I was doing, or waiting for the other person, the boss or the friend, whatever that might be, to actually acknowledge your efforts and acknowledge your actions. You don't have to wait for anyone's approval. You don't have to wait for anyone's praise. You just make a document. I know it sounds a bit odd, but just make a document of all the things that you're achieving in your current role or in previous roles. Make it as numeric as possible. For example, I was able to increase the sales of my team within 20% versus the last month by doing this and that. So make it as specific as possible, and just when the time comes, when you have your reviews with your boss, just present it and say it out loud with confidence, because you now have a track of the achievements, whatever size they might be, of why you are a good employee or why do you deserve the thing that you're asking, whether that's a promotion, a change in your role, more responsibilities, whatever you're asking, just keep a track on that. So bottom line is know your worth and ask for what you think you deserve. So with that, it comes the opposite. If you think you deserve less, if you think you're not good enough, you're gonna reflect that in your actions, in your ways of speaking. It will show up, it will reflect on the outside world. The outside world is gonna perceive it and it's not gonna give you what you want because you don't actually think that you deserve it. More on that on maybe next videos. But the last mistake and the 6th error that I'm going to mention today is avoiding financial planning. It means not budgeting your expenses, or maybe doing a budget but not actually sticking to the budget, overspending, especially in a city like London where it's very common as there's so many stuff going on, inflation as well, rent is so high. So just overspending or spending more than you earn, that is a common mistake. A quick fix for this, and I'm not saying I'm an expert in that regard, I'm still in the process of sorting out my finances in a city like London. As I said, a lot of things are pricey, will be to plan for the long term. Something that I'm implementing just now, and that I actually got it from a YouTuber that specializes in finance, is to have a specific column or specific budget for education. For education, I mean for courses that I want to take. For example, the public speaking course, or for example, something else that I want to learn, a new skill. Maybe I want to learn how to use SEO, digital marketing. There's so many resources in the internet that you can learn pretty much anything, but also you need to budget for that. And I think that's a way of investing in your future self. Of course, besides the savings and the actual investment and having your emergency fund of between 1 to 3 months, also like that YouTuber suggested, and the finance books as well, but also saving for a bit of education. My best advice would be don't stop learning new things. Don't stop being curious about what else can you do outside of your 9 to 5 or inside your 9 to 5. How can you be more knowledgeable in certain topics, and how can you become even more valuable to your team, but more importantly for yourself, because you never know what might happen, right? So with that said, I'm gonna wrap this video by asking, which of these 6 mistakes have you made or have you seen others make? I would love to hear that. You can, as always, message me on my DM, my side journey abroad, or in the comments on the video. And if you haven't subscribed already, please feel free to do so to watch more content like this, more content on career journeys abroad, psychology, and more topics that also you can suggest and that I can look into it and do videos about it. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.